Hi, and welcome to um, Chapter 1, Learning Objective 4, where we're going to talk a little bit about um, how economists use marginal reasoning in terms of the decisions that they make, and what exactly does the term marginal mean when we talk about economic thinking. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, so again, we're going to take a look at marginal reasoning and what exactly do we mean by that. All right, so we like to say in the third principle that rational people make decisions at the margin. Now, rationality and bounded rationality and some of those things mean a little bit different things depending on which subject that you're studying. Now, we would like to say that rationality is where we look at a systematic process. And this systematic process to us in economics means, again, that people will make decisions as long as the benefits of those decisions, okay, outweigh the costs of those decisions. Once the benefit becomes equal to the cost, then people will no longer engage in that particular activity. Now, what's interesting is that when we get to the second part about rational people, we say given the available opportunities, and this is where it gets a little different depending on what social science that you're studying. If we're talking about rational people, we would say that they exhaust all available opportunities. But we know that time is scarce, right? That we deal with the scarcity in economics. And so we only evaluate, we kind of use satisficing, which you may hear in other classes. So we satisfice to find the best alternatives. And this is where then if you think about that, okay, if we can't have the infinite or all the available opportunities, then we're going to look at this in terms of an opportunity cost problem. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at in the economic field. Now, marginal means different things in economics, and there's more emphasis in microeconomics than there is in macroeconomics. But what marginal actually means to us is that we're going to look at incremental adjustments. So this means if we produce, so I'm going to put quantity here, or Q for quantity, is if we're looking at quantity, we're interested in what happens as we produce no units to the first unit. Okay, and what changes in here? What costs change? What opportunities change? And as we move from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, we don't really look at things in totality. We look at them in terms of the changes that occur. So many times what you will see is economic studies and economic thought looks at, okay, as we move from one case to the second case, what's the difference there? And then that leads us to look at some trends and forces, which we're going to talk about in one of our later principles. Okay, so again, we compare the marginal benefit and the marginal cost. So now we're coupling those two ideas. So the marginal benefit versus the marginal cost. An example problem in economics would be if Sarah likes ice cream cones, okay? And she can consume as many as 5 in one sitting. She's got $3, okay? This is the amount of resource that she has available to her, $3. The cost of the first ice cream cone, so at 0, she's paying 0. Obviously, first ice cream cone costs $1. Second ice cream cone costs another $1, so $2 in total. Again, the difference between these being $1. And then 3 ice cream cones, $3. And then we would also not only look at this cost in terms of monetary, but what's the marginal benefit that she gets, her utility. And remember, utility is the want satisfying power of a good or service. So what we will find is that this individual will continue to purchase ice cream cones as long as the benefit or the utility outweighs the costs. Okay, and we'll talk more about those principles as we move throughout the course. Okay, so when we talk about the use of marginal analysis, there's a great article by ThoughtCo, and you can click on the link and read the entire article. But again, what we want is optimal decision making. And again, preferences and constraints. And many times that's monetary, okay, or it could be time, or those factors of production, which we will talk about later on. Again, it's much less messy, very analytic, okay? And again, we're not looking at all decisions, we're just looking at the opportunity cost of those decisions, okay? Not necessarily what we always use because we have to satisfy, which goes with whatever satisfies the particular problem at that particular point in time. And that doesn't mean it's the best decision. It just means it solves the problem at this particular point in time. Again, we don't always think using this method, and that's why many times in your economic problems, you're going to say, I don't get what they're talking about. And that's okay. That's why I'm here. All right. So why is water so cheap while diamonds are so expensive? And yet, when we think about needing water, everyone needs water. So if we see the price of water go up versus the price of diamonds go up, we're going to see that more individuals are going to continue to buy water because that's needed, right? And how much becomes where we look at the marginal benefit, how much to consume is where we look at that marginal benefit versus the marginal cost, okay? All right, so that's it for the end of this learning objective. And this is actually 4, not 1.1. But so I will see you next time, and we'll continue to kind of go over chapter 1 and all of these principles that are being introduced in the 10 principles of economics. I'll see you next time. Thanks.